Folks, so what we're going to do here is just give you an overview of some of the main new features, the macro features that Maximizer have released over the last, probably over the last 12, 18 months, roughly from the last time we've done a webinar. It's not designed to be exhaustive, but it's designed to just give you a little bit of a look and feel in terms of other functionality that Maximizer have been rolling out. Okay, main thing really. So the agenda for today, we're probably going to cover this off, I would imagine, in 30 minutes, but we'll take whatever time is required. All right. So main elements are really, we're looking at Maximizer as a product. Two main elements of Maximizer. There is what Maximizer called base edition product. And then there is the Sales Leader Edition. Everything that applies to the base edition product is in the Sales Leader Edition product. But the Sales Leader Edition product has some additional enhancements and functionality around sales intelligence and sales reporting. Big chunk really of today's session is we're going to look at a lot of the Microsft integrations. Maximizer are very much positioning themselves to be fully integrated with the Office 365 and Microsoft Office suite of products. They've invested substantially in the last number of years with that, so I'm just going to go through some of the features again today that you may or may not be aware of. We'll look briefly at other interactions, and then I think we have a slide at the end on future product development. Maximizer on the CRM Live edition, which you guys are all on, are releasing product enhancements monthly. The big development team in Canada, all this development is going from HQ in Canada, and they are very much positioning themselves to be to grow the company by a factor of 10 over the next number of years. So they're very, very aggressive in terms of where they're looking to grow the company, and they're investing substantially in the product at the moment. So very briefly, key features for all CRM products: Kanban view for cases, customer health indicators, and the new timelines. So I just checked mine. My new timeline hasn't been rolled out yet, but there is a new timeline available or will be available within the product. And all this is really doing is trying to make the timelines more visually pleasing and able to interrogate from a user perspective. So here we have filters, and also then we can go and search any text. And the timeline then is captured based on a calendar format. So for every month, for example, it will display the relevant information. At the very top here, it's showing me any upcoming or overdue appointments. So a lot of the data that I'm using here is just demo data. So it gives you an indication really of where it's at. So I can hover over any of those records and pop up and see the full detail that exists within them. Second element here is the element which is the customer health indicators. These need to be activated within the product, and they can be set against a number of predefined criteria. Okay, for example, we can set accounts for show me all accounts that have not been contacted within the last 90 days. For example, or 180 days. Show me all accounts that have a open case against them that is open for more than 4 days, for example. So there's a list of predefined criteria in the background. We build that criteria, and then based on the criteria, it will apply this green, amber, red, healthy, concerning, or at risk warning. So down here in the below window here, I can see that this is saying amber because last contacted date is more than 90 days. And there are cases that are aged in excess of 48 hours that have not been actioned, for example. Next one then is, I'm not sure many of you use the case or the customer service module, but again, within the customer service module, they have created a Kanban view, whereby just the tiles rather than the list view that was traditional in Maximizer. And again, you have all your filters at the top, whereby you're able to filter by timelines, by assigned to user, priority, case type, and so on. Then what we're going to look at now is some of the features and functionality within the Sales Leader Edition. Now, Sales Leader Edition is an additional cost. I think the standard license is about £50 per user per month. And the Sales Leader Edition comes in at something like £65 per user per month. So what do we get for that? It's really built around the concept or idea of making sure that your sales is functioning to the best of its ability and providing you with as much insight as possible. So first thing here, we have a Kanban view for the opportunities. Traditionally, in Maximizer, it was a list view, but then they have these tiles that we can click, drag, and drop. And against each of the tiles, then what we have is the red exclamation mark, and that will notify us if, for example, certain criteria is set. For example, if the opportunity has been sitting at the stage for longer than it should be, if a task has not been completed within a predefined period of time. And very easily, it gives us an indicator in terms of what has been actioned, what hasn't been actioned, what's overdue, or what's in need of attention. In addition to that, it allows us to add, for example, revenue targets and activity targets. So here, very briefly, I have created an example whereby I have an annual target of 120,000 revenue per annum. And I've split that down evenly over the year. Okay. So I have 120,000 revenue of existing business. And then I have 60,000 revenue of new business. That's my sales target for the year. And I can build that out for the sales team. The lower window here is then an activity targets. So this concept here is really around the idea that to make your sales, you should be doing a predefined amount of sales calls or online meetings or demonstrations and so on. So based on the intelligence, for me to make 12 new sales, I need to have 24 new prospects. For me to have 24 new prospects, I need to have 48 leads. For me to generate 48 leads, I need to be doing X number of calls and X number of meetings. So this allows me to create and predefine and performance manage really my activities. So here I have tasks and emails, but likewise, I could have outbound phone calls, for example, or email campaigns sent. Doesn't matter. And again, I've just done 2 screenshots. This is one of the sales intelligence screenshots. So just by way of summary, it shows me things like win rate for certain individuals, the sales efficiency, the average deal size, the average day to close, percentage attainment by the individual that we've selected, number of calls that we're making, so on, opportunities that I have in progress, opportunity value, and then obviously revenue by products. These are all predefined indicators that are coming out of the box. There's no customization with them. And likewise, here is another one, which is basically a sales leaderboard. So it ranks all the reps that we have. It shows me the revenues that are being achieved. And here I can see the achievement against target. I think my targets are slightly low when we're achieving 1,095% more than the target. And then the win ratios. So we have, at the moment, there are 8 indicator boards, all predefined, and they're driving information based on the sales activity that exists within the system. You may need a little bit of training on these, and you may need a little bit of customization and help, but they are pretty much out of the box functionality. Uh, Maximizer is available to all users free of charge with through either the App Store or Google Play. You can just download the Maximizer app and log in with your normal username and password, and it will bring you into your version of Maximizer. Okay, you can do lots of things within the app. I'm not going to specifically go in and show you all the functionality, but it is pretty much a fully functional, fully featured app, and you can pretty much do everything on the phone that you can do on the desktop interface. So now is the challenging bit. Now we're going to do a little bit of a live demo around the Microsft pieces that are available for integration. Maximizer, I've invested substantially in the integrations that are available, and I've based on the product literature that I have seen, they have the best Microsft integrations outside of Microsft themselves. That's what Maximizer tell us. So let me leave the presentation. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to Maximizer here, and I'm going to have a record in my Maximizer, and that is John's record. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is, if I go into my Outlook, I have example emails. John is a client of mine, and he has emailed me with a couple of emails. So I have my Maximizer plugin here. I'm using, in this case, the installed version of Maximizer. And I want to file that within from Outlook straight into Maximizer. So I can select my icon, and hey presto, it's working. So it finds John in the system based on his email address, and I can save to entry. So it automatically saves that record. Now I could also, for example, go and search a different client. So maybe this email relates to a different client. So I can go and search a different client's name in there and file that email specifically against the other client. Let's not do that in this case. Let's continue with John. So it brings me into John's record. I have a summary of all information that I have relevant to John. I also see 5 upcoming appointments, and I have open opportunities. So I can likewise, if I go back and I go to a new email, I can save this email specifically against an opportunity or a case if I so need. And in here then, what I can do is I can create as well as file the email against existing opportunity and create a new opportunity, create a new case. I can add notes, add tasks, more and have more options. For example, add an appointment or add a log a call. And I can also click here and edit John's record. And as soon as I edit that record here, it will automatically update TECH in Maximizer. Okay, and let's hit save. So this is the old-fashioned installed plugin for Microsoft Outlook that is installed on your desktop. We can also do it with the Office 365 Online Edition. So here is John's third example email. I have a plugin here which I click on, and it works through in the exact same way that we did earlier on. So in this case, I'm going to go and save that example email to an opportunity. Okay, so same functionality applies. The next element, what we're going to do is, for example, very briefly, I can merge. We can still merge to Microsoft Word. It's going to pop open Word. I can create my Word templates. I have my Word template here. Or I can upload these templates into the system. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And I can merge to a document. So here I have this example Word template document in the system, and it's going to pull John's details through onto the Word document. John, technical lead, ABC wine, date and time stamped it, and it's merged specific information in. So that is the integration that's available within Word. The next piece I'm going to show you is the ability of me creating an appointment and using the Maximizer calendar functionality. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to schedule a meeting. So I'm just going to go example meeting. Date and timestamp, which is fine. And here it gives me the option to add a Microsoft Teams link to this meeting, which I can very easily do. Here it will, I'm the organizer, and it's going to automatically email John an invitation to the email, sorry, to the meeting. So I'm just going to hit save, and the next screen will pop up, and it will give me the option to send John the meeting request with all the team integration details. And obviously I can just hit send to that. When I go back into John's calendar, or when I go back to my calendar for today, I should be able to hover over that and I should have all the team credentials that I need.
Niall, will that filter back to your Outlook calendar too?
If you have your synchronization set up, it will, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Good question. Next one then, what I want to do here is I'm just going to create an opportunity, in this case against John. And what I want to do is link it in with a Teams channel conversation that we have. So I have been able to click on my Teams integration tool. And this will now automatically add to a Teams channel that I've created. And it's just asking me to do it later and post that record card and create a specific Teams channel conversation with the details in Microsoft Teams so that we can keep all communication available with that. Okay. I can also then do, just go back, if I can do this. I'm chatting. I'm going to go to my conversation. I'm going to go to John here and I want to share a record in Teams with John. I can come in here and if I have my Teams plugin, I can go into Maximizer and I can share a contact with John on my Teams channel. I should automatically go search the record and hey presto, it should pop up that integration and display the record so I can link it in Teams. Here you go. So I can share John's record with John. Obviously, that's only visible if the user, if I click open in Maximizer, that's only visible if the other user on Teams has a login to your Maximizer. Okay. There is SharePoint integration available whereby you can link in folders with Maximizer, so allows full integration. The last thing I'm going to show you, which I don't have fully set up, but is the ability to make calls specifically from Maximizer. So you can set up VoIP integration. So I can go right click and I can make a call. We don't have Teams dialing, outbound dialing. We don't have that Teams option. But for example, if I was using the voice carrier on Teams, it would give me a Teams voice option to dial, and I can automatically dial from here, and it will record the duration of the phone call, and then I can save that, and it creates my next actions linked to that. Okay. I think now we're okay to go back to the presentation. And this is how it would look, for example, when we're doing outbound dialing. You would have your outbound screen. And that largely covers off a lot of the functionality that's available within Maximizer and Microsft. You can also export to Excel, obviously, from the database as standard. Other macro-enabled Excel spreadsheets, which we have within the product. Next thing really is about third-party integrations and automation. So going to use, just by way, very simple web integration. So I have integration on my website, so we can build in web forms. I can complete the web form here, and it automatically populates information in the database. So this is just a very simple web form. One of our clients, young farmers in Scotland, they do a new membership registration form for their membership. And the club secretaries are sent to this page. They complete the new members' details, and it automatically populates that information into Maximizer, providing the user with notification of a new entry. Or we could do something more advanced. So this is the University of Cambridge client of ours. They need their students, approximately 6,000 students are in support of some sort of disability support. But to get the disability support, you need to submit evidence. So this is a web form based on a Maximizer that they have built with a number of unique identifiers. So for example, unique email address, unique web UCAS number, and so on. So whenever they submit the information, it will automatically update information that exists in the system, maybe a telephone number, for example, or entitlement to support, and it will automatically store documentation again that has been submitted. So maybe it's a proof of ID, maybe it's a medical certificate, whatever that might be. So the web form we've created for them using Maximizer, and they publish that basically on their own website, and they send the students to that. Before we deployed the web form, their students were they had to employ a new member of staff, a temp. It took them about 20 minutes to update the relevant details for each student. They had 6,000 students. So they've been able to save substantial amount of time. And I think the failure rate is maybe 1 or 2 users submissions out of that 6,000 that they need some sort of manual intervention with. Web forms are a standard feature within Maximizer. However, some require additional customization. So we also have a product called Zapier. Zapier is an automation tool. So for example, you can link in with lots of other products. The other products link with Zapier, and Zapier then links with Maximizer. It's called a middleware product. And Microsoft are bringing out their own version of that, which is called Microsoft Power Automate. And it's just been released here, but it allows you to do lots of automation. So for example, this example here is where you may have a Microsoft form being completed on your website, and you want that information to automatically feed into Maximizer. Based on the automation that exists, we can lift that information from the web form and populate the relevant fields in Maximizer. That's just a very simple example of the automation that exists. There are obviously lots of other automation tools available, and we can do lots of other rules, create lots of other rules within Maximizer through automation. And lots of other current integrations. This has been actively expanded. You tend to get three types of integrations. There's a Maximizer specific integration, there's native integration with the likes of Microsoft Office functionality, Word, Excel, Outlook, Teams. And then you also have third-party integration. So third-party might be we partner with somebody like OCAT, who has a quotation module. They have specifically developed the quotation module. They're linking that in. So that's a third-party integration. Or you have something like the Zapier integration, whereby integration works via automation. Product integrates with Zapier. Zapier integrates with Maximizer. Where is this available within your Maximizer? This should be visible in your app directory. These, you may require a little bit of time or a little bit of assistance to deploy some of the new apps. Reach out to us. There may be some just time involved from our perspective to give you assistance with that. It's not an exhaustive list, and they are actually adding integrations to it on a daily and weekly basis. Last screen here is really where are we going? Maximizer continuing to invest substantially in the product. There is a lot of new development at hand. So they have just released a new email marketing integration with a product called SendGrid. A lot of enhancements and workflow automation or customization. They have also used artificial intelligence within the product that's available currently within the Sales Leader Edition to build in sales books. Continuing to invest heavily in the Microsoft integrations and obviously the third-party integrations as well. Here, a few listed, like QuickBooks, Xero, I believe, is in the cards. Additional email marketing campaigns. We're doing one with MailerLite at the moment, MailChimp and Power Automation, and continuing to invest in the mobile application. That just brings the webinar or the information to a close. Just bang on 30 minutes. I know we had penciled in 45. Does anybody have any questions for me based on what I have shown? I don't see any hands up here at the moment.
I do.
Suzanne,
if you don't
yes.
mind, yeah. So you mentioned SharePoint there. I noticed on your slide there it says it's not ready yet. Is there any time when the link with SharePoint will be ready?
Funny enough, we have a call in with Maximizer today, so it should be. I'm going to say within weeks it should be available. They had released a version, and I believe they're redeveloping the integration.
Okay, because we'd be very interested in that. So if you can keep me up to date, that'd be great.
Brilliant. Yeah, I will indeed.
Thank you.
Anything else, folks? Great. Look, today wasn't designed to be exhaustive. If you have other questions about Maximizer, can it do? I'm looking at the product to do. We have other problems. We have other maybe systems that we need to integrate or replace. Please reach out. There's a huge amount of development in the product. It's a very big product, although myself included, we probably all use a different 5% of that product. So if there's nothing else, folks, I'm going to draw the session to a close. And if anybody wants, I can reach out and share the slides, the material, and the recordings.
Thanks, Niall.
Okay.
Very informative.
Thanks, Niall. Bye.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.